Today I am going to show you the easiest pattern to make a baby beanie. Good morning. This is Deb from Just Do Something Homestead, and today I am going to show you the easiest pattern to make a crocheted baby beanie. I prefer to use the size 3 light baby yarn, and because of that I pretty much have a standard pattern that I follow. This is the newborn. It is 0 to size 3. It starts with 9 stitches in the first row. If I want to move it up to a size 3 to 6, I'm going to make 11 stitches. And if I want a 6 to 9, I'm going to start with 13 stitches. That is one way to increase the size of your hat. One word of caution as someone who has just started crocheting. This baby yarn is so soft. It is one of my favorites. It is a light. It is size 3. Shows you right there. But it has this texture. Let me show it to you. So it's lumpy. It's twisted. And when you use this to crochet, it is very, very hard to keep on track, to find where you should be going. And so I crocheted this one. I love it because it's soft, it's beautiful. But basically, I had to know the feel of where to put my hook. So if you are just starting, I would not use a textured baby yarn. Let's get started. I am going to use a size 3. And this is light yarn, and I love these patterned ones. If you look at the end, it has all different colors coming through. And with a hat, you're going to start with one color and you're going to end with another one. This hat I actually crocheted from the beginning of this one, and I had started with the yellow and it had just turned to gold. The difference on this one, I added 2 rows of the gold. I didn't think that it was bright enough just to have the one, so I did increase it and add 2 rows at the end. But we will get to that when we get to the end of our project. This pattern scares a lot of people because they're worried, how in the world will I do these ripples? Do I start down here? Do I start at the top? This is such an easy pattern. Once you make one, you're going to want to make more and more just for all the different sizes and the colors. This one I absolutely love. It is easy and I make it in 30 minutes tops. Let's get started. All you need is part of a skein. You don't even need a full skein of size 3 baby yarn or something that is very soft. This has a little sparkle to it. I love it. Then you're going to want a hook. I usually use J, but not today. I have moved down to H, so a little bit smaller, and a pair of scissors. Let's get started. A lot of people use magic circle. I do not. I am old school. So let me show you that a little slower. I'm going to take the yarn and wrap it around my finger and then cross to the back. Take my hook, go under, over, and grab. Just like that. Now that's where people put their first stitches in there and then tighten it. Not me. I tighten it right away. And you're going to start by chaining 3. 1, 2, 3. Just like that. Because I don't do that magic circle, I am going to go into my first stitch. So I go in there and I do a slip stitch, which means I pull it through, and chain 2. 1 and 2. And that's what we have so far. It doesn't look like much. Don't worry, it's going to come along very quickly. Most people don't like to do it this way because they're not sure where to put your hook. So you're going to yarn over and you're going to go into the center. It's simple. You just don't want one yarn on your hook. You want 2. So if you have 2, you're in the right place. So put a double crochet. And I am going to put 9 crochets double in this hook. And you will see where I started. That is the little knot at the beginning. And I am going to pull the tail around the circle as I crochet, which will hide most of it. That is 9 double crochet. A lot of people aren't sure how to count. This is the first loop. That's the chain. Don't count that one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, at this point I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to cut that little tail off. Slip stitch into that first chain spot. So right here's the chain. So stick your hook in there. You're going to grab, come through that chain and come through again. And you have a perfect circle. Chain 2, 1 and 2. Now you're going to put 2 stitches in each stitch. So you're going to yarn over. Now make sure you get both loops, both of those loops. Pull it through and through. Now you want 2 in each stitch, so repeat. All right, so I have 2 stitches in that stitch, and I'm going to continue going around. Make sure you get that V shape. That would ensure that you're getting both of the stitches. So let me show you another one. Go through. Oh, I didn't get all the yarn, so stick it back through. Make sure I get it all. Often when you're using a sparkle kind of yarn like this one, it has a very thin strip in there of sparkly material, and so it's easy not to get the entire yarn as you are pulling it through. So make sure you never miss some of it. You're going to pull it both through like that. Let me show you another one. Yarn over and then through 2, through 2. Now we're in the same spot. Oh, there's an example. I didn't get them both. 2 and 2. And you're going to continue this until you get to the end. Now we started with 9 stitches in that first circle. So at the end, you should have 9 groups of 2. This is why it is so important to count. If you weren't counting, you would automatically go into that next one. And we don't want to increase in that space. You should have exactly 9 groups of 2. So we're going to count. Now the first one, you've got the chain, and then you have 1 group of 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So it looks like there's a big gap here. There is a big gap there, but you're going to slip stitch into the chain and that gap will go away. So don't put a stitch into that one. Then you're increasing by 2 and we don't want to do that. All right, slip stitch in there and chain 2. Looks like that. Get the lay flat. For this round, you are going to put 2 double crochet, then 1 double crochet. 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, going the whole way around. So let's start with 2 double crochet. Remember, you don't count that chain that's still there, so just 2 in that first one, and then a single double crochet. 2, 1. All right, let me show you again. 2 in the next one. That's 1 and 2. And then the next one has 1. All right, repeat that pattern all the way around the circle. And you'll see it's starting to curve, which is good. I completed going around in a circle, doing 2, 1, 2, 1. Now I'm going to slip stitch into the chain and crochet 2. So chain 2. And it looks like that. So we have 1, 2, 3 rows. Now this next row is the last one where we are increasing. Told you it goes super duper fast. So this one you are going to do 2, 1, 1. So let's start. You put 2 in the first one. And then 1 double crochet and 1 double crochet. Let me repeat that. So you put 2 in the first one. 1, 2. And then 1 double crochet and 1 double crochet. All right, you're going to repeat that, going the whole way around the circle. 2, 1, 1. All right, I have the last 3 loops that I'm going to show. And I'm going to show you how it works out, because when you're doing a 2, 1, 1 pattern, you're always going to end with that second one. So if you didn't end with a full pattern, then you know you have missed a stitch somewhere. So I'm doing 2, 1, 1. So 2 double crochet. And then 1 and 1. And this is what I wanted to show you. It should have ended exactly in that stitch. That gives you that space that we know should be there. Don't try to squeeze one in there. And then go into the chain and slip stitch. And that was 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 rows. They're all double crochet. In fact, this entire pattern is double crochet. Now, the next 4 rows are a single double crochet in each stitch, and that's it. So I'm going to pick it up and chain 2. And I am just going to go in the circle and put 1 stitch in every stitch. So 1 double crochet. Make sure you have both of those loops when you grab it. Let me show you what I mean. You should see a V pattern. You want to yarn over and grab just those 2. Make sure you don't have 3. Every once in a while, I end up with 3 on there from grabbing too far down. So let me see if I can do that by mistake. Yep, right there. All right, so that one shows 3 stitches. That means I've grabbed a stitch I shouldn't have. You only want 2, just like that. All right, so you're going to do 4 rows of double crochet. When you get to the end, slip stitch into the chain, chain 2, and keep on going. So I will meet you after I have done all 4 stitches going around. I have crocheted 8 rows, and the easiest way to count this is to look up at the top. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 rows of double crochet. The last 4 was just 1 stitch in each stitch. Now I am going to start the ripple. So I slip stitched in there, and I crocheted 2 chain stitches. Now this is where it looks complicated, but it's not. It is just doing double crochet around the stitches in the row you just did. For me, it is easier to think front, back, front, back. So this first stitch, I want to go front. So I'm going to yarn over, and I'm going to stick it behind that stitch. And what it does is it creates the stitch in front. So front. Now the next one is a little trickier, and that is I want this one to go in back. So see how it's now behind my hat. So that one, it's just a double crochet, is now back. Front and back. And you continue this pattern the whole way around, and what it does is it starts to look like a ripple. So the last one I did was back, so this stitch will be front, and the next stitch will be back. All right, and you're going to continue that pattern the whole way around, front, back, front, back, front, back. I'm at the end of that first row where we started the ripple, and same thing, you still have that space there. I can show you what happens if you go into that space. What happens is your hat starts getting bigger and bigger as it goes down the sides, and you really don't want to do that. All right, so slip stitch into the chain, chain 2. Now we're going to do exactly the same thing we just did with the same pattern. So you want front, back. So you can see this one was in the front. So front and back. And the back ones can be a little tricky. I kind of pull it here, and that helps me have the space to get it through there. All right, and then front. And then back. And I'm surprised I'm still using the same yellow. If you look down here, I have a little more yellow, and then it's going to start switching to that, it's like a coral color. So I hope that there's still enough yarn here that I can get around and then switch colors, because that's what makes it really cool. I still have quite a few rows of yellow. So this hat would completely end up being yellow, which is fine. You have a few options. I can just leave it as it is. I can cut it off and pull out some of that yellow and get to the coral, or I can just change any color I want. But I think what I am going to do is I really like this coral, so I think I'm going to change the color of this so that the bottom 2 edges will indeed be coral. There was quite a bit of yellow on there, so what I did is I cut it off, and I want this little bit that's a transition. And so I am going to actually just tie a knot to my yellow to transition in the back of my project to the coral colored. I tied a knot where I wanted my yarn to start, and then I tightened it. Now this is a little trick. What I do is I weave it in as I crochet. Now the last 2 rows are basic single crochet. So I just slipped stitched into there. I am going to crochet chain 1. You don't want 2 because you're only using single crochet. All right, then in that next stitch, I'm going to stick it in, but I'm going to lay the tails where I changed the color on top of the stitches. All right, so right there's the first stitch. I go through it and then put that on top of it, and that's going to get those tails caught in there so that they stay woven in and I don't have to come back and do it later. So lay it on top, single crochet. So I did a couple things here. We're switching stitches to a single crochet, and I also changed the color. All right. Oh, I like this color. This is going to look really good. All right. I'm going to do one more of laying that on top. You don't have to do a lot. I tied a very tight knot, just like that. All right. And now I'm just going to cut those 2 tails from where I connected the new color, like that. All right, I'm going to continue with this color going all the way around, every stitch single crochet. That is 1 row going across, and I am going to slip stitch into the chain, which remember this one was just a single crochet, so it's not as easy to find as the others. All right, and you can tell you're doing well with counting stitches if you have a straight line. You don't want it just traveling across your hat. All right, at this point, just like my other one, it looks good with 1 row, but it looks better with 2. So I am going to chain 1 and do another row going across. All right, single crochet in each one. There are 2 rows of single crochet all the way around the bottom of my hat, and the next thing I'm going to do is slip stitch it into that very first chain. And basically my hat is done. So all I need to do at this point is cut off that tail. And I pull that tail through my work. So my hook is in the loop, tail here, and I'm just going to pull that through like that. What a cute little hat. To finish this off, on the inside of my hat, I'm going to tie a knot, which I just did, and then weave these ends into the border around the bottom of my hat. I don't want to weave it up into the hat because that's a different color. So all around the outside, just keep going through these stitches, pull it through, Now remember, this is the inside. And then when I get where it's getting a little bit short, I'm going to head upward because I don't want, in case it comes loose, I don't want that piece of yarn hanging down into their face or the back of their hair. So I take that and I start moving it towards the center of the hat. Now I can't go real high because it's a different color, but I can get it up to that original stitch. I'm going to get you in there. And this will be the last loop. There we go. Pull it through. All right. Now all I have to do is trim that off and this hat is done. There we go. That's the back. All right, there is the hat that I just made. Now this is newborn size. They are very stretchy, so if you have a little one that has a pretty big head, it's gonna fit, but this is a typical 7-pound baby, and it started with 9 stitches across the bottom. Both of these hats are exactly the same size, and as I said, this one is using a size 3 or a light yarn, and it is using an H hook starting with 9 in the center. Super duper easy pattern. Now next week I'm going to show you how you can upgrade this, how you can make it look even a little more special by some tricks you can do to decorate these hats. So I hope you can join us for that. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. And please share this with all your crocheting friends. In fact, once you make your hat, I would love to see the pictures, so please post them below. Have a great day. Bye-bye.